You might be wondering why processing goes through all this monkey business with .VLW files. You have to make them, you have to load them. They automatically get saved in a data folder, but they take up a little bit of room on disk. Why go through all this? Why not just use the font files that are already installed on your computer or that you can download from the web? There are three big reasons. The first is the issue of copyright. A lot of font files are copywritten by the people who put in a tremendous amount of creative time and energy to create those typefaces. If you find a typeface that you love and you use it in your sketch, legally, you're not allowed to share the file for that typeface with other people if it's been copywritten. Issues of copyright always end up intersecting with issues of money. A lot of fonts are commercial products. Again, these fonts are made by people whose livelihood depends on selling the work of their creation. If you find a font you love and you put it into your sketch, then legally, anyone who wants to run your sketch on their computer has to go out and buy a copy of that font. And of course, this can be a problem for people who either don't have the money or the desire to buy that font. These issues come up all the time in every program that uses fonts. And what's the answer? The answer usually is font substitution. The computer says, I don't have the font you want, I'll use something that I think is close. So suppose that this is your wedding invitation. You've spent hours poring over every detail, and this is exactly what you want to show to someone else. Maybe this is animated, so the flower moves in the breeze or something. So you send this to the people you want to have come to your wedding, but they don't happen to have this script font installed. So the computer substitutes, and they get this. And it's just not the same. You want them to see this, which is what you intended. The VLW files solve all of these problems. Technically, because they're not the same sort of font files that you find on the web or buy from a commercial font foundry, they don't have the same copyright, financial, and legal implications. You can make these VLW files and now save them and ship them around with your sketch. And everyone who downloads your sketch gets the VLW files. That means that they get all the information that they need to render the fonts to the screen. So why is this legal? It's because the VLW files are really a very reduced set of information that's in a normal font file. In fact, the VLW files are really nothing more than a picture of all the characters in the font rendered out at a single resolution. When processing wants to draw a character on the screen, it simply copies the pixels out of the VLW file and puts them into your graphics window. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a nice serif typeface at 48 points. So this is what's stored inside the VLW file. Suppose I type a capital P. Here's what happens. Processing finds the pixels for the P and copies them onto the screen. Let's try lowercase r. Again, it finds those pixels, and for every letter you want to draw, processing goes off to the VLW file, it finds the pixels, and it copies them down. You can't see the VLW file like this because it's not an image file. It's compressed, and so you can't actually see this kind of thing happening. But this is what's inside that file. If you have another VLW file with a different typeface, that's fine. Processing just copies the bits. So let's type the word hello, and one by one, each letter that you type, processing finds the bits in the VLW file, copies them over, and puts them into your sketch. One of the nice things about this is that it doesn't matter what the font is made up of. It doesn't matter really where it came from or what it looks like. Processing can just copy the bits and print out any word. So the VLW file is very restrictive because it only saves the font at this one resolution. That's why making the font much bigger or much smaller looks bad, because processing has to take the bits, the pixels that are in the file, and scale them up or down. And as we know with any digital image, scaling it up or down by too much makes it look bad. So this is why if you want to use a typeface at several different sizes, you'll probably want to save several different VLW files. Of course, processing stores all of the characters. So we have both uppercase letters and lowercase letters. We have all of the numbers, and we have all of the punctuation signs. So you can really print out anything because all of the characters have been saved at a given resolution. This is really a very clever trick on the part of processing to get around the problem with font substitution. As long as you share your sketches with the data folder and all the VLW files inside of it, everyone who runs your sketch will see exactly what you intended them to see.